Hello everyone, welcome back. Kelly here. So today I'll be talking about how to trade expansions in the market. When there is an expansion, price leaves us with no tangible um, or clear price action for us to speculate the next move from. And that's why today I'm doing this video to share the knowledge about I have about trading expansions with you guys. So what is an expansion in the first place? When price makes a high, let's say price is bullish like this, okay, then makes um, an aggressive move to the downside like this. This is what we call an expansion. Same way when price is bearish and all of a sudden makes a huge move to the upside. So these are what we call expansions. Okay. Now, how do we trade expansions? When price expands like this, price will retrace or reverse into a fair value gap or let's say a breakup block or any PDR area. Then give you a sweep, a shift, then you can continue moving in the direction of the asset expansion, which means that when price expands, we expect price to what move in the direction. It should continue in the direction as the expansion. When price expands upwards and there is a retracement or a little pullback, price should move upwards. Okay, price should buy. Same way when price um, is bullish and there is aggressive movement on expansion to the downside, you expect price to come back into any PDR area, fair value gap or breakup block, and start selling. It should just move in the direction of the expansion. Okay, same way happens when price is doing something like this. Uh, Price is bearish, then all of a sudden it moves like this. Price will come back, trace back into any fair value gap or breakup block here. Then it will give you a sweep, then a shift, continue in the direction as the expansion. Okay, so let's look at how we can be able to tackle these scenarios or the situations to our own benefit. Okay, so when price expands in the middle of a range or in the middle of a trend, is different from when price expands into a key level or higher time frame key level. This happens when price expands in the middle of a trend like this. Okay, the price can come back here with a shift, then maybe continue selling. Okay, but what happens when price expands into a higher time frame key level? So let's say this is the key level. Okay, anytime price expands, that's why I always go back to the higher time frame to see if price has expanded into any higher time frame POI or key level before I know what to do next. Okay, so when price expands into a higher time frame key level, it reacts different. It reacts differently from when it expands into, let's say, any it expands in the middle of a trend or in the middle of a range. Okay, so let's say this is the key level now, the high time frame key level. Okay, the price expands into it. Then you just after this expansion, you go to the 4 hour daily or any high time frame and you see that this expansion has actually tapped into a higher time frame key level. Do you expect price to do the same thing as this? Come here, then give you a sweep, a shift, and continue in the direction of the expansion. I've realized that most times when price expands, is expanded into a key level on the higher time frame, it doesn't really move just like this one. Okay, since it's a key level, it has a tendency of causing a reversal or a trend change. Okay, so what happens is that it will just give you a pullback like this, come back, and then give you a break, come and trigger an unmitigated POI here, and continue buying. There are only some few things that are different over here. One is the key level on the higher time frame, and the second one is the reaction when it taps into the higher time frame key level. For this one, price didn't expand into any higher time frame key level. So this is what happens. The pullback and it will continue in the direction of the expansion. But when price expands into a key level, higher time frame key level, I've realized that most times what happens is a trend reversal or a trend change. And this is what happens. Most times when these things happen, you call this one your last the sweep or break of structure. Then you wait for price to close about here for us to know that this is a shift or uh, market is going to buy or there's a trend change. But when there is an expansion in these cases, you can't wait for price to come close above this one. You look out for anything like this at this key level. Whilst at this key level, okay, whilst at this key level, this is actually dependent on the strategy you trade to, but you look out for this, okay. You don't wait for price to close above here. Mostly also there is and there will be a fair value gap here. Mostly when I encounter these things like this, I always see a fair value gap here. And the fair value gap is what causes this pullback to give us a break. Sometimes it may not give you the break, just something like this, the pullback like this, then to trade into at least 50% of this pullback, then it will come back, trigger the unmitigated POI, and continue buying. But I wait for a break. I always make sure I trade the ones with a break. I want a break of structure. Then I'll use this side, this little pullback here, this pullback as my inducement to take the trade from the POI, the unmitigated POI. All right. And after this, you can see that after price will give you another break over here like this. So price will give you another break like this. Then after this one, this break of structure, price can just come down, give you this, then to continue. If you want, you can wait for or ignore this move here. You can actually ignore this one here. Maybe you want to be sure it's price in itself. Yes, it's allowed. Maybe you can't catch every move in the market and you don't have to chase the price as well. So you can wait for price to give you a new break of structure, then you can take the continuation from an unmitigated POI over here. All right. So this is the second scenario, and this is the first one. This one is when price expands in the middle of a trend without tapping into a key level on the higher time frame. And this one is when price expands into a key level on the higher time frame. So one key note is whenever you see an expansion, switch to a higher time frame to see if that expansion tap into any higher time frame key level, order block, anything on the higher time frame. If it taps into that higher time frame DOI, and you see it very clear that that's actually a key level on higher time frame, this will not be the best option for you to start trading price in same direction as what the expansion, because expansion has tapped into higher time frame key level, and it is found that price may change, cause price may change trend. All right. So there are only two things here: the key level, the tap into the key level. Always look for reasons before you enter the trade. If there is no higher time frame key level, that can possibly cause a trend change. This is what price does. After this expansion, it comes back to this page, give you a sweep, a change, then a break, then continue in the direction of the trend. But if price actually expands into a higher time frame POI, look exactly for something like this and expect a reversal. A reversal. Nothing is actually promised in the market too, but this is what data shows, and this is what I realized. Okay, So let me show you one or two examples on a live chat before we end this video. This is actually good on the 4 hour time frame. Let me use good for this. Okay, so I saw one on good the last time. So okay, so let's go to 13 minutes. This is an expansion, this huge move. Okay, when you go to the lower time frame, you see that price move aggressively into this place. So let me show you. You can see this, right? That price will move aggressively into this place. Normally, we expect price to just come back to this place into maybe this breaker, give you a sweep and continue selling. But what happened? Price didn't do anything like that. It just come tap into this um, key level and continue buying. Okay, so let me actually show you very well that this is actually a key level. This is an order block on the 4 hour time frame. It may not be clear on the 4 hour time frame. May not be clear. This one is an order block on the 4 hour. But when it comes to maybe 2 hour or 1 hour time frame, you see that it's an order block because of this breaker structure. This is an order block. Price uh, move aggressively into this area and immediately rejects it close above this line with a week, and this is still the order block. So there's nothing like a line. Okay, just take this as an order block. And after price tap into that, what happens? Let's go to 30 minutes. Let me explain better. You can see that when price taps here, it moved to the upside, came back, give you a break of structure, return and tap into the mitigated break order block and started buying. This is what I'm saying. This is the key level. Price just came back like this and continue to the upside. Okay, so uh, this is what I mean. This is the live example, chart example of what I was talking about. And about the fair value gap as well, you can see that this fair value gap here, when price tap into this fair value gap, it moved to the upside, give you a break of structure. This is a pullback, and it's clear that this is your engagement after this break of structure. Price came back, tap into this what order block here. Then he started buying after that. And the second thing I said was you can actually ignore this move and wait for a new break of structure on here to catch the continuation. So after price mitigated this order block, that's where you can just drop a 10 frame lower to maybe 15 minutes. On the 15 minutes, you can see that we have a break. We have a break here. This break. Then price came back to tap into this order block because all this is the only unmitigated order block right here. That this break, this order block here was mitigated by this one. Yeah, after this break as well, then we have this break here, break of structure, and this one too was mitigated. So the only unmitigated order block we have is this one. And what the price of price came back, tap into it, then everything is mitigated. So that's the first one here. So you can target. Yeah, it depends on what you trade, the RR you trade, and your risk management. Then price just came back, tap into the unmitigated order block and continue to the upside. Same here as well. You can see what happened here as well. So that is for today's video, the expansion, how to trade expansions. And remember, always go to the higher time frame to check if the expansion is into what the higher time frame POI or key level. before you start taking your trades. Okay, so this is how I trade expansions, and very simple. Spot the difference. Yeah. Normally, usually, what happens in just an visual scenario when price expands in the middle of a trend or a range, then you can take note of that and also take note of what happened here when price actually expanded into a high time frame key level as compared to the other one. So that will be all for today's video. Okay, so if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to other traders or other people as well. So I got a question from someone the last time about breaker blocks, other blocks litigation. So I'll try and do a video on that to share the knowledge I have with you whilst we all learn together. Right. So thank you. So until next time, stay safe.